All right, guys, it is Saturday afternoon. Kind of decided to, in order to stay busy during this quarantine thing, I think I'd just mess with one of my old motorcycles. Um, anyway, I need quite a bit of money and for materials for the 55 to get the body all finished up on it to start bolting parts on. So I'm kind of going stir crazy. I don't really have anything to do. So I decided these little Kawasaki's I've got here, I think I'm going to go ahead and try to get one of them to where it runs and rides. And I'm basically just trying to pass some time. Now, what you're looking at here is both of these are 1983 Kawasaki GPz 305s, little twin cylinders. My dad bought me one of these. I don't have my original bike. I looked for it years ago, but come up empty-handed. But anyway, my dad bought me one when I was 15 to ride back and forth to school because all my friends had 125 Enduros. Anyway, I put a want ad on Craigslist, and I think it was around 2014, I think. And within a month, I got a hit. And the guy delivered it to me, and it was actually a bike that ran and actually rode. It didn't run great. It needed, carbs cleaned and stuff like that. And I spent a lot of time, a lot of money on the bike and got it to where it run and rode great. It just looked like hell. And that is actually it, hanging up right there, the frame of it anyway. Anyway, the rest of that bike is actually in 3 giant totes full of parts. Now I've got tons of brand new parts. I even bought all the paint. I had all the decals reproduced. I had the seat redone. The tank was cleaned and lined. I mean, I bought tons of stuff for that bike. And anyway, I kind of thought that maybe I'd go ahead and spend a little time on one of them and see if I could get it going again. Now, what I'm kind of kicking around the idea about, now this is the engine from the frame hanging from the rafters, or hanging from the ceiling up here anyway. I thought about going ahead and painting the frame with just some single stage acrylic enamel, which I have here. I have some Nason single stage acrylic enamel, and I have the activator and stuff. And I thought about going ahead and cleaning up the engine and getting it painted as well, and then maybe go ahead and bolt it in the frame. But these 2 parts bikes here, I kind of started messing with them a little bit. Now this bike, this was the last one I bought. I left the ad on Craigslist, the want ad, and ended up getting bought 2 more from 2 separate people. This was the last one I got. The day he brought it to me, it was raining, so we unloaded it out of his truck, and I put it straight in my shed, and it got buried after that. I never messed with it, never tried to get it running or anything. He got it from a garage sale, and he knew nothing about it. So I went out to the shed and cleared a path and got them out, and I brought them around here. And upon looking at this one, the spark plugs were out, and now the carbs were on it, but I took them off. They're right there. But anyway, I used a shop vac on the cylinders there where the spark plugs go. I put a shop vac on there to pull anything, whether there's bugs or whatever down in there, no telling. Then I went ahead and pulled the carbs off, and I shot WD-40 down in the intake and down in the cylinders there. And I tried jumping the starter, but I think the engine's locked up. It's not moving. The starter, I mean, you can hear it clicking, but it's not doing anything. And I jumped it off the battery out of the car, and I know the car battery's all the way up, so it's definitely something up with the engine there. Now, in order to turn it over, I can't get it to do anything in gear either, rocking it back and forth. In order to get the engine to try to manually turn over, I'd have to pull this cover off and put a big socket on there, which I could do. But this bike, when I got it, this was my first parts bike I bought. This one, it was mostly together. I think it was missing the side covers and maybe the blinkers or something off the back. I don't remember. But anyway, I used the carburetors from my good bike and bolted them on there, and the bike started and idled. I didn't have a belt on it, so I didn't ride it, but it did start up and idled, didn't smoke or anything. This bike, I think, had 4,000 miles on it, 4,800 or 4,400 or something. That bike there has 7,000 miles on it. Now the one I'm working on has 6,800 miles on it, which to me they're all pretty low mileage, you know, really for a 1983 model motorcycle. What I'm thinking about doing, since this is the lowest mileage engine, I'm thinking about just taking what parts I need off this bike here and go ahead and put this bike together and see if I can get it to run a ride. And I kind of want to see how good this engine is. I may actually use this engine. I don't know. This one's, you know, low miles by a couple thousand, so I may do that. This bike, one of these I didn't get a title with. I just got a bill of sale. I think that one I got a title with. Yeah, I got a title for this one. But the title, everything is out of date for years, so it's going to be, it would cost more to tag it up than it'd be worth. Now this bike here, I just tagged that up. Now I keep it tagged up every year since 2014, but that's the main reason why it kind of hit me that, hey, maybe I'll come out here and work on one of these bikes. You know, I tag that motorcycle every year and it just hangs from the rafters, so it kind of sucks. The thing I've got in mind is in not only the nostalgia factor of it. I mean, the bike is a small bike, but I love it. I mean, it's basically a time machine. When you set on it, well, let's just say when I sat on it, you know, it's 1987 all over again for me. 15 years old, you know, and I rode everywhere on that bike back then. But anyway, my wife knows how to ride motorcycles, and we actually, when we moved here, we both had dirt bikes, and we would go out to different places out in the country and ride and stuff. We sold the dirt bikes a long time ago, but she's been talking about wanting to get a motorcycle license and get a motorcycle, but I mean, we really don't have the money to go buy a motorcycle. But my idea is, seeing as how this is a small bike, I'm thinking about going ahead and building this bike, and then she can, you know, get used to riding it around her housing addition, and then go take her motorcycle driving test. I think it'd be great, and then we could actually ride together. I couldn't put her on my motorcycle. You know, mine's a ZX14R. It's way too big for her. Be pretty big and bulky for her to jump on and try to go take a motorcycle test on, you know. These little bikes are so light and nimble. I think it'd be great. But anyway, so that's the idea. I think I'm going to kind of tinker on this one a little bit and see if I can't get it to run and ride, at least around the housing edition, you know, because, you know, I don't have a title for it or nothing. It's just a bill of sale, so I wouldn't be able to register it. But I kind of want to make sure this thing runs and rides. But in the meantime, I might go ahead and paint the frame and the engine at least. But the idea behind that one mainly is, if this engine, I need to put a compression gauge on it, that's what I need to do. But if this engine has more compression, it seems a little better since it is a little bit lower miles, I might actually do this engine instead. But it's kind of cool, you know, having three of them here. There's really, you know, some parts were missing off each one when I got them, but I do have enough parts to build one hell of a nice bike. But I do have the majority of parts to put one more bike together. It'd just be seconds, you know, seconds of the parts. But this bike, when it's together, it looks just like a GPz 550. It has a little fairing with a windscreen and everything on it. But I'm wanting to restore, now that one there in particular, I'm wanting to restore that bike to where it looks showroom brand new. Like every detail is done like mint showroom condition. You know, that way I could put it in some bike shows and stuff. But anyway, I think it'd be a great bike for my wife to ride, and me as well. If I needed to go to the parts store or something, I could throw a backpack on and just run down there in this. But anyway, I think that's what I'll do. I've got, you know, tons of new parts, and they're just basically sitting in totes. The bad part is back in 2014 when I started building the other bike, I bought brand new tires and had them mounted on the other rims and everything, and now they're probably no good. They're out of date and everything. They've been in my shed, but they may be dry rotted all to hell. I don't know, but they're brand new, never been rode. But Got tons of new Kawasaki parts and boxes and everything. You know, some new old stock stuff, and so it's kind of a waste having all that stuff and then just never doing anything with it. I keep working on cars, you know, month after month after month, and I never took the time to work on any of these old bikes. But you know, now since I don't have any money and there's downtime, not working, might as well do a little bit of something. So, you know, what this bike is missing is sitting right there on that bike. And then I have another box full of spare parts from these two bikes that I could, you know, pretty much get a whole bike together. But at least this way, my idea was if I could go ahead and get it together in the next couple of days to where it's start and run and move and ride around the housing edition, even though I don't have a title for it, at least I could put my wife on it and see if she even likes it at all. But I'm pretty sure she will. I mean, the bike it's a little bike. It'll fit her great, I think. But anyway, so that's what I'm doing today. I'm just kind of messing with this thing. Lots to do. But overall, I think it'll be fun. So, in case you're wondering what I'm up to, that is pretty much it. So I'm going to get at it. Start messing with this bike a little bit, I guess.